coming up there with Scott Allen and Rob McLean.
Well, this is the game in Dundee that they call the Derby. You can keep your Glasgow version, you can keep the Edinburgh Derby as well. This is the one that matters so much on Tayside, and both these teams coming into it looking for their first league win of the season. Dundee have certainly sorted themselves out after a very shaky start under Stephen Presley in the League Cup group stages, suffering defeats at the hands of Airdrie and Alloa before getting a couple of wins, but that was their League Cup fate decided very early on. And what they've been trying to do is piece together their rebuilt team, rebuilt squad, and managing to put together some much more impressive results, including, of course, that draw that they had at Ibrox when they could have taken all 3 points. Dundee United have had European football to contend with, very unlucky to go out against Rapid Vienna, a couple of 2-2 draws, losing on penalties in the end. But doing their reputation no harm at all when you consider that just over a year ago they were a championship team. So despite Jim Goodwin having had to do his own rebuild across the road at Tannadice, Dundee United have recruited pretty well by the looks of it. And there are 2 changes in their team coming into this one. Delighted they will be to have Zach Sapsford back leading their attack, back after injury, back for the derby, and he is ready to replace the injured Max Waters up front. Also, Pancamara comes into the midfield, and he's been a crucial part of what they've done so far this season. So he replaces the unlucky Craig Sibbald, who misses out. He's on the bench today for United. Just the one change for Dundee, and it's a debut in the derby for former Scotland under-19 midfielder Ethan Hamilton. So he comes in to their team, and maybe unlucky, the same description that I've just given to Craig Sibbald dropping out. Finn Robertson is among the substitutes for Dundee, and that's us underway in the first Dundee derby of the season. So the Premiership programme is very well spread out this weekend. 2 games yesterday, 1 earlier, the goalless draw at Ibrox. Now it's the 2 Dundee clubs, and of course Aberdeen Falkirk and Hibs St Mirren to follow later. So lots of action still to come. We're only halfway through the Premiership games this weekend, and this one, Scott Allen, should be compelling viewing.
Yeah, obviously both teams looking for a first league win of the season. Both, I think, Dundee United I'll touch on first in terms of I think Jim Goodwin's touched on the injuries that they have had, but looking at that lineup, they've still got a lot of quality in there. You touched on Stephen Presley's start with that Premier Sports campaign, and yes, it was as if he was coming under a bit of pressure early doors, but they've managed to get back to some sort of solid foundations at least. I think you see straight away they kind of sink back into that back 5 and try to make it really difficult. I mean, they have your talisman and Simon Murray up front. There's always a goal threat, Jan Dandan behind, who's got that bit of creativity, but they're trying to build on foundations, not to concede and look to hurt Dundee United on the counter-attack.
It's a pretty slick start by Dundee United, working the ball around the pitch, getting it up to Sapsford, he managing to link it together, and they almost had an early attack going with Amar Fatah, the young Swede, down the left-hand side. The ball slipping out of play in the end, but promising signs in the first couple of minutes, and Zach Sapsford seems to have had pretty much a talismanic effect on the team so far, as the first free kick of the game goes against Lucas Stevenson. Clumsy challenge from him, but 1 or 2 promising signs already from United.
Yeah, I think I obviously touched on the shape. I think it naturally allows them to get a bit of space playing out. It's them when it comes into the areas where they're trying to hurt Dundee. Dundee will try and lock onto them, make it hard for them to break them down. Lucas Stevenson there obviously with that late challenge, but that's always in a derby. You want to kind of lay your marker down early doors, make the Dundee players not be able to settle, and it'll be the same on the other side, and that's what Dundee are looking to do as soon as they get into the areas where they can maybe cause problems.
Yeah, you're not going to be holding back in this fixture, that is for certain, as the ball is played up towards Simon Murray, and there's a wrestling match going on involving Bert Esselink at the back for Dundee United. That's going to be one of the intriguing matchups in the game. The back three, the all-new back three for Dundee United, have looked pretty handy, to be honest, but they haven't had Simon Murray to face so far. And when you're a central defender, he can be, as we well know, your worst nightmare. The ball is back with John McCracken. He's in the Dundee goal. It's a back three for them as well, with Astley and Graham either side of solid Clark Robertson. I'm calling him solid. He'll hope he has that sort of performance today, but he keeps his defending pretty plain and simple. And it's Dundee now who are just looking to knock the ball around. Dre Wright under pressure plays it back to McCracken to fire it upfield. No playing out of the back from Dundee, and uncertainty at the back from Dundee United. Kereshtes has to hook that away in the end. There was hesitation from Kurchenko coming to try and claim it, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just a long ball from John McCracken, causing all sorts of problems there. Goalkeeper communication with his I think it's Kereshtes there, and he clears it out for a throw-in. And this is where Dundee can maybe gain a bit of pressure, playing round Dundee United's ball, make you defend their long throws. With Simon Murray always looking to get a sniffer about the edge of the box, we need to pay close attention to him.
And there is pressure and there is noise written all over this as the Dundee long throw comes in. Dundee United with plenty of height and physique at the back, and they were able to take charge and get that away, and now look to counter-attack, but it all fizzled out pretty quickly for United. And Dundee have the ball back on this left side, and back in central defence with Robertson alongside him is Luke Graham. Dundee in the last Tayside derby. There's another free kick.
Didn't look like free kick from here, Rob.
Given against Will Ferry, I think it was. Yeah, Dundee back in March. That was the last Dundee derby, and it was at Tannadice, and Dundee were 3 up in that game and went on to win 4-2. As the ball is played down the line for Imani Samuels to chase it for Dundee, and out to the right side of the penalty box to collect is Kucherenko, the Ukrainian goalkeeper. 10 different nationalities in the starting lineup for Dundee United today, but on the evidence of what I've seen them 2 or 3 times so far this season. They're gelling well, pretty nicely so far. The ball fended away by Astley at the back for Dundee. He's the man who looped in that header that had Dundee in front at Ibrox. And the game finished 1-1. Of course, just getting points on the board, Dundee. They'll hope for all 3 in this one, but easier said than done on Derby Day. Poor pass from Dundee, intercepted by Stevenson. Dolchek driving with the ball, cutting in off the right side. Great feet, great skill. Shot blocked in the end, cleared as far as camera. Now Kereshtes tries to fight it up to the edge of the box again. Sapsford looking to get control. Good little spell this from Dundee United. And it was, a typical run from Dolchek. We've seen him doing that quite a few times so far this season. He looks a very good capture.
Yeah, he's probably been my favourite of the new signings. It looks really direct, look to get shots away. We've obviously seen the quality he's had in terms of the goals he scored. And there, listen, it's a slack pass in midfield from Dundee, and Lucas Stevenson gambles, wins the ball. Dolchek some lovely feet, try to shape himself to get a shot away, and in the end it's a really good block from one of the Dundee players. I think it was Clark Robertson, but just a sign of how dangerous Dolchek can be in the areas of the park.
Yeah, he creates things, he scores things. He's got 3 goals for Dundee United already. Fatah's layoff to Camara, switches it left. Will Ferry at the corner of the penalty box, back inside. Camara looking to link again with Ferry. Will Ferry sliding in to make sure he got a touch on the ball, keep possession. In comes the cross from Sapsford. Dundee get ahead to it with Clark Robertson just getting the merest of flicks that gets that out of the danger zone. But it's 3 minutes of serious pressure this from Dundee United.
Yeah, and like I said, it all came from that slack ball in the middle of the park. Dundee United have managed to sustain pressure from that. Obviously been nice and high and aggressive. Will Ferry with a fantastic tackle there, keeping the chance alive. And now I think we'll now see the Dundee United long throw.
Yeah, he wears the captain's armband in the absence of club captain Graham, who is injured, of course. In comes the long throw from Ferry, plenty of height on it. Dundee trying to scramble it clear, and it was a shooting chance for Dolchek about 15 yards out. Again, it's Dundee throwing bodies on the line, and it's deflected behind for a corner.
Just the chaos the long throws can cause. I think a lot of people think the first contact's really important. It's actually the second one where it breaks down. It falls to United player in the box, and again Clark Robertson managed to get his body in the way.
It's going to be Amar Fatah to take this corner kick on the left-hand side for Dundee United. I think well, he looks to me about 6'3" or something. I think I'd have him in the middle. Fatah's corner kick is floated to the edge of the area, stretching for the header was Stevenson. Just sent it high, and that allowed Luke Graham to clear it. Now it's Jan Danda, left-hand side, looking to hold the ball under pressure from Camara. He's all over him. It's deflected into the box, and fortunately for Dundee, it spins back to McCracken. Great pressure on Danda from Camara. John McCracken rolls the ball out, and Dundee look to compose themselves. Decent defending from them there under serious pressure from the team across the street. It's a big rivalry, this one, and both sets of supporters want to get the edge over their opposition in this opening derby of the campaign. The ball flung into the middle of the pitch. It's with Graham, and now Imari Samuels, left-hand side, left wing back for Dundee. Danda takes it on, clips it down the middle, looking for the movement from the midfield, and just bounces behind for a goal kick in the end. It was Joe Westley who was tucking in from the right side, trying to get on the end of it, but just couldn't quite get there. But it was great vision, wasn't it, from Danda?
Yeah, and that's what he possesses. I think the guy you want on the end of them is Simon Murray, but that run from midfield can catch the United defence out. Unfortunately for Dundee, it was just a wee bit of the execution there from Jan Danda, but that's the threat that he possesses. If you can get him in the right areas, he will create chances, and with Simon Murray up front, who we all know plays on these sort of chances.
And it's Murray on the ball right now for Dundee, does really well, finds some room, spins away. Danda, 25 yards out, left-hand side, tries the shot. Unfortunately for Dundee United, they had the giant figure of Yuri Yovu standing right in front, and he managed to block that shot, which looked to be on the money from Danda.
Game's kind of going in three-minute phases here, where Dundee United have a bit of pressure, then it's into Dundee. It's kind of been like that since they get go. No team really dominating the play as of yet.
Dens Park bathed in sunshine. This 2 o'clock kick-off, and we've played just over 11 minutes. Dundee 0, Dundee United 0. Engrossing stuff so far. It's Dundee United who will reckon they've had a couple of half chances in the early stages. Good blocks defensively from Dundee, as these two test each other out in the opening stages, seeing if they can find a little weakness. And that's a kick out from Kucherenko out to the right hand side, which bounces out of play with nobody in Tangerine getting on the end of it. Right in between the two dugouts here at Dens. Clark Robertson slows things down in possession of the ball for Dundee. Out of the area comes John McCracken to launch it downfield. Kareshtes with the header away. Camara flicks it down the line. Fatah against Astley, and Fatah and Camara end up getting in each other's way, and the ball goes out for a Dundee throw. into the middle of the pitch, and Danda under pressure again. He's so creative, and whenever he's on the ball, Tangerine shirts are swarming around him. Now it's Dolcek who feeds the ball back to Stevenson for United. Chevet in the middle of the pitch, who gets it back from Esselink. Down the middle, in between the lines, is Stevenson for United, and he just overhits the pass. There was a real possibility there for Dundee United with Stevenson having found some room, but he just overhit the pass for Dolcek. It slips behind for a goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, I think that's the area where Dundee United can hurt Dundee. Obviously starting wide and then moving into the areas between that back five, because it is a back five when they don't have possession. Dundee have got in behind the Dundee midfield. If you can find that pass time and time again, you will create chances. Just touching back on the Danda one, these straight passes, I think he's got to do better there. He's got to know what's coming. He doesn't scan, he doesn't bounce it off first time, and I think it's Jova who comes in really aggressive with him. So if he's not going to pop up, he's got to protect the ball a lot better.
The ball with Stevenson down the right side for United, linking with Dolcek. Stevenson continues the run. He's on the byline. He turns it back, and Dundee United go in front on Derby Day. And it's Zach Sapsford with the finishing touch. Back after injury, back among the goals, and it's United who hit the front.
And John McCracken's not going to be happy with that, but all credit to Dundee United to work it down the side. It's just that ball across, and like all good strikers, getting across the front post, and he squeezes it in at the near post. Like from where we're sitting, Rob, he'd maybe expect John McCracken to save that.
Yeah, he got a hand to it.
He got a hand to it. It wasn't exactly really powerful, but for me, the run fantastic across that front post area, and he turns it in. What a start for Dundee United.
I don't think there is a great case for the defence for John McCracken. All you could say is that the shot was struck really quickly and sharply from only a couple of yards out. He didn't have much time to react, but the fact he got a hand to it, he will think he could have been able to turn that round the post.
Yeah, for me, it didn't look as if it was coming in at some pace, but it's one of the ones. He's got across the front post, gets across the defender, and he just squeezes in at that near post. Maybe it took him by surprise, but from a Dundee United point of view, it's a brilliantly worked goal.
What a good signing he has been. It's not just his goals, he has such a work rate, and he's got 2 or 3 assists to his name already this season. There was a point in the midst of their European campaign where Dundee United had 4 goals. He'd scored 2 of them, and the other 2 were assists.
Yeah, I had seen him against Rapid Vienna, and I thought it looked really good. All-round game, like what rate you talk about, the willingness when he maybe not getting this. Oh, there's a chance here.
Cleared by Esselink. Ethan Hamilton for Dundee has barely touched the ball so far. It's just all flying past him at the moment on debut.
It has done in those times where they have had the ball at Dundee, and I think one of the midfielders has got to demand the ball. There is space for them to maybe play in and then start wide. Look, it's getting a bit sloppy already from Dundee. Have to compose themselves here.
Yeah, they can't afford to make any mistakes now, Dundee. No great margin for error at 1 down already. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1, 15 minutes gone in the derby. And Sapsford with his 3rd goal in Tangerine. And it was a brilliantly constructed goal as well, wasn't it? Dolcek and Stevenson getting to the byline. Lovely little cutback, classic cutback if you like, and a clinical finish.
Yeah, it's one of the goals you see on the training ground, but in this day and age, most strikers want the cutback at the edge of the box or on the penalty spot. That's what I love the run so much, because it's something you don't always see these days. He gets across him, make the goalkeeper make a save, and John McCracken was second best in Satchel. As we said, we're speaking about his work rate, but most importantly, he's putting the ball in the back of the net.
Jim Goodwin is doing just about as much mileage on the touchline as he would be if he was on the pitch. At the moment, he's dancing up and down in his technical area. He's screaming and shouting at his players, getting them into the right sort of positions. But he will be absolutely delighted with the start his team has made.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Dundee again there. I think there is space to play. Obviously, get 3 midfielders in there. Someone has to come and try and receive the ball at some point from one of your defenders, unless the game plan is just to go direct. But you look at the height in that Dundee United defend. Dundee looks second best if that's the route you're going to go here.
Dundee United with a throw in on the right hand side, and it is their fans at the moment behind Kucherenko's goal. They're making all the noise, some of them in the main stand just to our left as well. hoping that that goal is pointing them towards a Derby win, but you'd be hard pushed to be making great predictions at this stage. Simon Murray will look to do something about it, and he dinks a pass out to the left-hand side for Danda, who in a physical encounter with Yovu rightly opted out of it, I guess, and settled for the throw.
Yeah, just jump over it, let him clear it out for the throw in. We'll see that long throw again, but at this moment in time, Simon Murray's just working off scraps. They need to try and build with a bit of quality at some point so he can get him off the shoulder. That's what he plays on.
Here's a long throw for Dundee, and maybe their best chance so far of creating some consternation in the Dundee United defence. Graham opts though just to take it short to Danda, get it back, takes a nice touch, Luke Graham. It's Danda again who swings the ball in, doesn't get it beyond camera, and he'll try again, Jan Danda, and he does exactly the same again. He doesn't get height on it, and it's an easy header away for the Guinea international. That was disappointing. Danda will expect better, but Dundee United just hoping that getting the ball up to the edge of the area and allowing the likes of Simon Murray to feed off scraps might pay dividends. But I guess they're now wishing that Luke Graham had just flung that long throw into the box.
Yeah, but listen, Jan Danda obviously works his way in to get two crossing opportunities. Again, execution, got to miss the first man. It's so important, make Dundee United defend. And unfortunately for Dundee, it makes it easy for them. They now have to defend a Dundee United throw. But for me, I think they've got to be a little bit more composed, a little bit braver.
Played nearly 19 minutes of the Dundee derby. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. Zach Sapsford hasn't taken long to pick up where he left off. The 23-year-old Australian looks like a very good signing. Dundee in possession, Samuels under pressure. It's great work from Lucas Stevenson again, robs him of the ball, links with Dolcek, dancing down the right hand side for Dundee United. He's got really good feet, he's got good balance, the Croatian, and he's causing major problems whenever he's on the ball. Dundee still haven't got it away from him. Finally they do.
He missed out on strength there. He's holding 3 Dundee players off at the one time there.
Yeah, he's got a bit of height and physique about him as well, even Dolcek, and I guess you look at him and you don't think his touch is going to be as good as it turns out to be, and here he is again, chesting the ball down, keeping it on the grass for Stevenson. Fired back to Esselink. Bert Esselink on the halfway line, and across it goes to the left side, and Kerejtes down the line for Will Ferry to chase, and he doesn't give up anything, the Dundee United vice-captain. It's been escorted behind by Dre Wright, and it's a goal kick for Dundee. And if you're analysing this game with 20 minutes gone, you would say Dundee United with a deserved 1-0 lead.
Yeah, obviously the best chances of the game up until the goal had fell to them. I don't think Dundee looked like a real threat in terms of shots and goal. I don't think the goalkeeper had much to do at all. And from what it looks as if that is the route they're going, just looking to launch it down the middle, get on the second balls, and hopefully something falls to Simon Murray. Whereas for me, Dundee United look a lot more in control of what they're trying to do, get the guys, your Sapsfords, your Dolceks in area where you can really go and hurt the opposition. For Dundee, everything looks a bit hopeful at the moment.
A clash of heads, so the game is stopped. It was Jan Danda who's last up off the ground for Dundee. It was he and Chevet who banged heads, but both okay, and we're all right to continue. Just about midway through the first half in the Dundee derby. Given away by United this time. That hasn't happened too often. And it's Ethan Hamilton getting one of his few touches down the line from Danda for Samuels. And what a brilliant defensive challenge from Yuri Yovu. He just swatted Amari Samuels aside. He was shaping to cross the ball in from the byline left-hand side. But the big Moldovan arrived, and Samuels was pretty much wiped out, totally legally, but he didn't seem to stand a chance there.
No, he just steps across him, shows that upper body strength, manages to keep the ball in the park. Dundee United obviously back on the attack again. It's just some of the physical mismatches about the pitch. You can see it in the one-on-one duels. Dundee United seem to be coming out on top.
Ethan Hamilton, the debut boy, signed from Lincoln, driving through the midfield. and releasing the ball to Samuels. Back it goes to Graham. Now Danda looking to pull the strings if he can for Dundee. He's got a licence to roam around and look to create. On loan from Hearts, Danda, the ball played into his feet again. He's bundled over by Yovu. No free kick. Looked like a free kick from here, not according to the referee. And it's good work from Luke Graham to win the ball back against Yovu. I think everyone is expecting a free kick to be given there.
On the one on Danda?
Yeah, no?
Yeah, I don't, again, I think when you're coming into that area and you know what's round about you, you can pop it off, and then Yovu is out of position, and then that one can maybe go into Simon Murray. He's obviously trying to secure the ball. For me, in that area, it's got to be popped off, up, back into your midfielder, and then through to Simon Murray. Twice he's been caught. And areas of the park where you can be punished.
Certainly Stephen McLean, the referee, wasn't impressed by the screams from the supporters in dark blue. That should have been a free kick. Here go United looking to threaten again. Ferry scurrying forward again. Back it goes to McCracken, the Dundee goalkeeper, to launch it away. Doesn't get great distance on it. A header forward from Fata, and now Camera for Dundee United tries to work it in the direction of Dolcek. They're just looking to plug holes at the moment, Dundee, and stop United doing what they are doing. They're not really finding great opportunity in the game to be creative.
No, just because they're not in any sort of control of the football. Once it works its way back to John McCracken, it's just been launched forward, hoping for the best. It's Dundee United at times are trying to build the game. There's a bit of variety in their play. This moment in time, for me, I think the Dundee midfielders have got to do more to try and get on the ball, whether that's demanding it off one of their centre backs or their full backs. Have got to do more. You can't keep turning over possession as easy as they are.
Vitsko Chevet in the midfield. Plays it forward for Dolcek, and with a little flick of his left foot, plays it for Yovu, now gets it back. Just breaking down on halfway. Well won by Dundee. Can they get something out of this, having won the ball on the halfway line? But it just all fizzles out too quickly. It was Danda who lost the ball there. And it's Dundee who work it forward with a bit more. There's just a bit more method about Dundee United. There's a lot more purpose about them. There's a plan that's fairly clear, and I don't think you can say that for Dundee at the moment.
No, I'll say it's a game started off. I think when you have a striker like Simon Murray who has that pace, that raw finishing ability that we've seen, I think 15 league goals last year, and a team who didn't exactly set the header alight. I think for me, you have to have him playing off the shoulder of these Dundee United defenders. If everything's in front of them, they're going to expect them to win every one of the headers, just purely based on the physicality and the aggression that they have. So you have to come up with something different, something creative. Yes, Jan Danda is getting into areas where he might hurt, but up until now he just hasn't found that bit of quality on the ball. 25
minutes gone. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1 yesterday. Livingston 1, Hearts 2. Hearts still joint top of the Premiership on 10 points. Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 2 earlier today. Rangers 0, Celtic 0 off the back of their European problems in the week. And to come, of course, Aberdeen, Falkirk and Hibs against St Mirren. You'll miss nothing by staying right here. Full and comprehensive coverage of this Premiership weekend, and these two, of course, looking for a first league win of the campaign. United will feel they're on track, but they need to stay positive. Lovely ball from Stevenson, clipped in behind Graham. It's Dolcek cutting in, and he tries to beat McCracken at the near post, and all he finds is the side net. That was a massive chance for the second United goal.
What a ball from Lucas Stevenson. He shapes it down the outside of the Dundee defence. I think it's Dolcek coming in on his left foot. Expect him maybe to disguise it and go far corner. He tries to beat John McCracken at his near post that hits the side netting. But again, down that side, Dundee United causing Dundee problems.
Well, we've been bigging him up, Ivan Dolcek, and he knows he should have done a whole lot better there. It had to be the other side that he was going for. It was too tight to try to squeeze that in between McCracken and the post, but he had so much time to think about what he was doing there that goes down as a big disappointment for Dundee United, and it stays at 1-0 with 27 minutes played. Astley on the ball for Dundee, looks to roll it into the midfield for Simon Murray, dropping off the front. He clips it down the line, but it's just not joined up for Dundee at the moment. There's a lack of fluency about their play, and it's Dundee United who have their noses in front in terms of scoreline, but in terms of overall play, much more to like about the team in Tangerine than what the Dark Blues have come up with so far. But they're only one down, and every possibility that they can haul themselves back into this game.
Again, you see that long ball down the middle, and it's so easy for the Dundee United players, especially the defenders, all 6 foot plus. The game's been played in front of them. They'll go and attack that. Simon Murray, for me, just looking at that there, Jan Danda is coming into areas, but there's just no control in terms of where they're trying to go with the ball. Everything's so hopeful. You can see Simon Murray is getting frustrated.
Robertson picks out Danda, he clips it down the middle, in goes Simon Murray, saved by Kucherenko as he tried to flick it past the Dundee United goalkeeper. That chance,
and that was the first time we've seen it. Jan Danda in an area where he can play that cultured ball with his right foot, and Simon Murray off the back, and I think he'd probably be disappointed he doesn't score if he lifts it a little bit higher. Dundee are back level, but that's the first time we've seen him in an area where he can go and cause Dundee United problems.
You were wondering whether an offside flag, I think there was an offside flag there, so I'm not sure that would have counted in any case, offside given, but you were just concentrating on Simon Murray finding a way past Kucherenko, and the Ukrainian goalie did pretty well, to be fair, to stick out a left hand and paw that away, as Murray looked to do what he was doing with so much regularity last season, and that's putting the ball in the back of the net. No one wants to win on Derby Day more than him. Big diagonal from Dundee United, Ferry chasing, and pretty effectively tidied up for Dundee by the backtracking Dre Wright. Back it goes to McCracken, and they look again to work it through the midfield. The ball in the end going out of play, close to the halfway line. Dundee with a throw-in. Stephen Presley's team trail here by a 0-0. We're almost at the half-hour mark. The sun beating down on Dens, great conditions, and the playing surface looks pretty good as well. It's a great day for a game, and Dundee United enjoying themselves so far. But Dundee only a goal behind. Wesley looks to power down the right-hand side. Manages to squeeze his way between a couple of United defenders. Couldn't quite find the pass that linked up with Murray. In the end, Dundee United got it away, and Camera feeds it across to Stevenson, and Lucas Stevenson certainly has been one who's caught the eye in this first half. He's on the ball now again. He's so much involved. He was caught late there as he played the ball away to Dolchek, into the middle again with Camera, and Chevet alongside him. Ball down the middle, flicked on by Sapsford. Fata was almost there. Astley nipping in with a challenge, forcing the ball out of play. Last ditch defending again from Dundee as United work it around nicely.
Yeah, Lucas Stevenson's obviously causing lots of problems going in that inverted full-back position, and Dundee management to find him, and then he's obviously looking to get Dolchek and Sapsford in behind. But for me, it's a bit brighter from Dundee, obviously, since the goal. You obviously see, I think it was Joel Wesley there, been very direct, and it then gives them the chance to maybe get Simon Murray in behind. It's actually well defended in the end, but it's been a bit better from Dundee.
Dundee United in possession of the ball at the moment. Bert Esselink, middleman of the back three, the organiser there. Camera playing a pass to Jovu and pointing him to the Moldovan where he thinks he should be playing it. But Dundee United just work it from right to left. And in the middle of the pitch again is Esselink. Back with Jovu. Now Camera just changes pace, moves away from Murray. Jovu for Stevenson. Plenty of good passing and good movement from Dundee United, and until Esselink played his pass straight at Wesley, but very quickly, having lost it, Dundee United win it back. Camera forward to Fata, caught by Astley. Down he goes, the Swede, no free kick, play goes on. Dre Wright over on the right for Dundee, out-muscled by Will Ferry. And there's no doubt that Dundee United are winning most of the battles on the pitch so far, most of the duels. It's the tangerine shirts that tend to be coming out on top and earning the right to play their football, and that's exactly what's been happening so far with 32 minutes gone at Dens Park. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1 on BBC Radio Scotland. The fourth game of this Premiership weekend, and all that was missing for United as they kept possession nicely there was the final ball overhit, and it bounces behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, a good comfortable possession there from Dundee. I think Esslink then forces it. For me, obviously Dundee, it's sitting in that back five and they don't have the ball. Just keep moving it side to side. They have the goal lead. Try and draw Dundee out and then get in behind them, that we've seen obviously for the goal.
14 of the starting 22 new to the Dundee derby. I'm indebted to Scott Allen's arithmetic for working that bit out. But yeah, plenty of them haven't sampled this before, and that of course can have an influence on how things go. It certainly hasn't seemed to affect Dundee United, and Dundee just looking to grow in the game, and as long as they don't suffer any more damage, they'll feel well capable of coming back to get something out of this game, as Fatah's layoff is found by Ferry, and he exchanges passes and he's driving again, the man wearing the captain's armband. He feeds the ball out to the left side. Fatah plays it in. Dolchik lays it back towards it was Chevet who plays a 1-2 with Stephen McLean, the referee, and that means the players to stop.
Yeah, it was really well worked though from deep inside their own half. Dundee United at then, that little 1-2 between Kamara and Ferry. For me, I think he's got to then switch it.
I thought you meant the 1-2 with Stephen McLean.
Yeah,
well
that then followed. There's been a few 1-2s.
Chevet with the ball in behind. Stevenson was getting there. Really important header from Imari Samuels, but again, up goes the offside flag. But how good has Stevenson been in this game? His cut back for Sapsford's goal, and his lovely curl-shaped ball for Dolchik, who probably should have made it too.
Yeah, he's probably been the standout of this first half in terms of energy, in and out of possession, always looking to pick up really good areas to hurt Dundee players. And in terms of the individual battles, he's definitely came out on top in this first half.
You can understand, Scott, how keen Dundee United were to get him back on another loan from Liverpool.
Yeah, and to be fair, I thought he'd done really well last season. I thought he might have maybe attracted the attention of some of the English clubs. But sometimes a club just fits, and if he feels this is the right place for his development, then between him and Jim Goodwin, Dundee United have wanted a winner, because for me, he was a big player last season, and most certainly today he's had a real impact in this first half. Zach
Sapsford with the only goal of the game so far. The Glasgow derby was minus a goal, 0-0. That one finished. The only Premiership winners so far this weekend, Hearts, with that late goal at Livingston to have them joint top on 10 points in the Premiership. But I haven't counted them, but there have been plenty draws so far in the first 4 match days, as Dundee United look to build something down the left-hand side with Ferry and Amar Fatah, the tall left-sided player, back for Ferry to float it in, back post. Sapsford peeling away to loop the ball back into the 6-yard box. I was wondering if it had gone behind there for a moment. There seemed to be hesitation initially before McCracken got a punch on it, and Dundee United now look to steer the ball downfield if they can into the middle of the pitch. Hamilton whacks it on to Westley, short with his pass for Dre Wright, and it all breaks down for Dundee under no great pressure there. An unforced error, you would call it in tennis, and it's not helping Dundee's chances, and they're scrambling around at the back at the moment to try to get the ball away. They're shooting themselves in the foot at times.
Yeah, and it all comes down to they don't know if they're going to play short or they're going to go long, and that's the problem that they've had from the get-go. From me, most of the time it's went back to John McCracken. He's launched it forward. That time he goes short to Dre Wright, who's expecting him to go long, and now they have to defend another long throw.
It's a throw in on the left-hand side, about 10 yards from the corner flag. Will Ferry flings in the long throw, a punch from McCracken, but it wasn't convincingly cleared. He needed help, gets it in the end, and Dre Wright just hammers the ball downfield. Not really too bothered where it went, as long as it was well away from McCracken's goal. 37 minutes played at Dens. Zach Sapsford for United, 1-0. They lead, and the ball is with Stevenson in the right wing-back position in towards Camara. Such a calming influence on the game, the Guinea international. And they now switch it across to the left with Ferry back to Kerestes and Esselink alongside him. And all the parts of the machine for United are moving smoothly at the moment. The ball played up to Sapsford. Well, the free kick has been given for the challenge into the back of him. Maybe Stephen McLean could have waited a split second, because he bounced back up and he had the ball and he was driving towards goal there.
Yeah, he was right at the Dundee back line there. I think it's because I think he was on the floor for about 2 seconds and then he bounced up. But really good play from Sapsford. A chance for United to test this back line again.
And that maybe sums him up. He does take a bit of knocking down and he invariably jumps straight back up again. Free kick right in the middle of the pitch, about 50 yards from goal, and Ivan Dolček, very optimistic from that sort of long range, doesn't hit the target. It was always on the rise.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I thought he was just going to help into the box and make Dundee defend. He obviously tries to let fly with that left foot. Scored a fantastic free kick against Hearts a few weeks back. Different execution this time, went for power.
McCracken launches it long, looking for Joe Westley. Headed away by Kerestes, out for a throw-in for Dundee on the far side. Dre Wright in a hurry to take it, but nothing much in the way of options for him initially, so has to wait. We're almost at 39 minutes. BBC Radio Scotland, Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. The ball with Luke Graham now. Dolček bearing down on him. Now with Danda. Back for Graham. Jan Danda plays it back the way for Clark Robertson, having to be patient, working it around Dundee. Graham now with the long ball down the left side for Murray to chase, and Bert Esselink just took his time before launching it out for the throw-in.
Yeah, I think he was thinking, well, let's try and usher it out. When someone, Simon Murray, breathing down your net, I think he took the right option.
The stand behind Kucherenko's goal is all tangerine, and they're pretty happy with the way this game is going so far. Down goes Sapsford again and again, to the frustration of the Dundee fans. Steve McLean says free kick. We're almost into the last 5 minutes of the first half, and maybe Stephen Presley will look forward to getting it into that home dressing room and rethinking things a bit for the second half. I'm not sure if he'll change anything personnel-wise immediately, but there's work to be done for Dundee, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've got to offer a lot more of a threat, especially in a derby. There hasn't been much out with that Simon Murray chance that I think was offside. But that comes with the gamble. Do you change it, be a bit more attacking, and you leave the space for the that front three of Dundee United, who are causing problems even against a back five at this moment in time.
Dundee have it with Ethan Hamilton, the new signing, in the centre circle, charging with the ball, and then rolls it left hand side for Imari Samuels. In the middle of the pitch again, back through for Samuels, but Yovu saw it coming. They're looking really solid defensively, Dundee United, and Dundee haven't really been able to do enough, as Scott says, to trouble them, to ruffle their feathers so far. They're well worth their 1-0 lead. Indeed, it could have been 2 if Dolček had taken his big opportunity. And Dundee grateful that they're still very much in touch in the derby, at just the 1 goal behind. Jan Danda is all over the pitch, looking to get on the ball and create as much as possible, but there's been little to trouble Kucherenko so far. Imari Samuels driving into the middle of the pitch, Danda alongside him, just outside the box, back onto the left foot, rolls it across, gets away from Ethan Hamilton. Good challenge from the Dundee midfielder to keep it. Samuels is still there. Danda with a shot from 25 yards, blocked by Will Ferry. Good little spell of pressure from the home team as half-time beckons. We're almost at 42 minutes, but it has been huff and puff from Dundee. It's not really been concerted attacking play that has got them into the final third.
No, not at all. I think they're then looking for a bit of magic, whether that's Dundee at the edge of the box or Simon Murray. As you said, that pressure hasn't been a regular thing in this first half. It's all been hopeful that they're going to produce a bit of magic. For me, obviously, to come out of the game with something that has to be. I don't see anything here that's worked on in terms of trying to get the most creative players in areas time and time again. To me, it looks like a team set up not to be beat, not necessarily there to go and win the game.
Dundee had the better of the derbies last season, of course. They only lost one of them, 1 out of 4. They've only lost one of the last 6, Dundee. But they're certainly playing second fiddle at the moment as Robertson fires the ball back to McCracken. And then it's straight back out to Dundee's number 3. On to Ryan Astley, who looks to play it out, looks to move with the ball. And immediately it's Fatah who wins it. He gets possession back from Ryan Astley, and now Chevet in the middle of the pitch to the goal scorer Sapsford, looking to weave his way through, finally stopped by Luke Graham. And now it's Ethan Hamilton who slipped as he played the ball up, and Simon Murray is a really isolated figure when they get the ball forward. And Kereshtes, not for the first time in this first half, a Dundee player has just swatted aside. It was Simon Murray that time, as Kereshtes just out-muscled him pretty easily.
Yeah, it was a strange ball up to him. It wasn't played with any sort of pace, so it's coming out the sky. He's having to feel where the defender, the pressure's going to come from, and then control it at the same time. And by the time he takes the touch, a Dundee United player's right up against him, takes the ball off him. And like you said, you can see the frustration, the reaction.
Dundee have it with Dre right back to Astley. Now Robertson working it again along the back line into the midfield area for Danda. Again it's Yovu who picks his pocket very comfortably, and the ball is worked forward to Sapsford, who looked to play in Dolchek, and it was a good cutout by Luke Graham. He had to get there, otherwise the Croatian could have been in with another chance to make it 2. Play going from one end to the other at the moment, but Dundee haven't really got too close to Kucherenko so far. That's been the problem. We're going to find out how much time is being added to the first 45 shortly. We're almost there, and it's Dundee 0, Dundee United 1 on BBC Radio Scotland.
Yovu's been excellent this first half, when he'd be brave and really aggressive getting in there. And that's the third time he's took the ball off Jan Danda.
1 minute only.
You see it again, every time it's going in, he's willing to step in.
Just 1 minute being added to the first 45. A big diagonal forward again. Astley stretching, got his head to it, but the ball dropping for Amar Fatah. Astley able to recover and get the ball back to John McCracken. And shortly these Dundee players will be inside the home dressing room underneath us, getting instructions from Stephen Presley about how they can be better second half, how they can find a way initially to get this game levelled up. But at the moment, very much United on top. Simon Murray inside his own half as he was forced back the way, looking to get things moving in the right direction. And when it was played forward, a clumsy challenge knocks over Jan Danda, and there will be one late first half free kick for the home team as they look to search out an equaliser. Right in the middle of the pitch, it's about 40-45 yards from goal. And once this set piece is taken, Scott, you'd imagine that will be that for the first half.
Yep. Last chance for Dundee, maybe salvage something, get into the half-time break. Jan Danda over it.
We're into the second minute being added on, right at the end of this first 45. It's all about Danda and the delivery. What can he do here? Jan Danda clips it towards the back post, and well, it's maybe a moment that sums up the first half, because Yovu was head and shoulders above everyone else to head that away for Dundee United. They've looked very calm, composed, controlled defensively. Dundee haven't been able to do enough to trouble them at the back. There's been nothing at all for Kucherenko to do, in the Dundee United goal, and that's maybe the worst news for Dundee. But going forward, United have sparkled. They've scored once through Zach Sapsford on the end of Stevenson's cut back to tap in, and big question marks over John McCracken. The goalkeeper got a hand to it but couldn't keep it out. Could he have done better? Well, you'd imagine he could, but Sapsford's goal, Dolchek could very easily have made it 2, but Dundee United do lead at half-time at Dens Park. It is Dundee 1, Dundee 0, Dundee United 1, Sapsford's goal, as we head back to the rest of the programme and the preview of the games coming up today, of course, and Tyrone is chatting with the Aberdeen manager, Jimmy Telleen.
You've obviously only played 2 league games so far this season, 2 tough ones at that. This is a chance to really kickstart things, isn't it?
Firstly, it's the most important thing that the performance is there, so we can deserve the result. We have to feel like we play well and create chances we need to, and be balanced in our defence and deserve a good result.
That was Jimmy Telleen talking to Tyrone Smith. Welcome to those of you who have been tuned in to the first half of the Dundee Derby. We'll have full live second half commentary right across all the frequencies with Scott Allen and Rob McLean. It is, for those of you who weren't with Rob and Scott, half time, Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. Let's get the thoughts of John McGlynn then, the Falkirk manager. He's taken his side up to Pittodrie and he's chatting with Tyrone too.
John, just explain how you're lining up today.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1, that's our usual formation. Yeah, no great secret about what we do. Aberdeen play a 4-2-3-1. We're going to play a 4-2-3-1. We'll see who comes out on top.
What kind of game are you expecting today?
A very good game. Pitch is in great condition. A little bit windy here, but it's got to be expected. It's normally windy here. Will no help any one of the 2 teams. Yeah, I think it'll be a very entertaining game. I think there'll be a lot of chances. And probably be goals.
Coming up against an Aberdeen side that had some European exertions just a few days ago, do you think that is something that perhaps could work into your team's hands today?
You know, possibly, but we can't rely on that. You know, we've got to play well, simple as that. We've got to be very much at it right from the start. We don't want to give Aberdeen any encouragement. Maybe in the latter stages of the game, that might have some kind of impact. But we need to get to the latter stages of the game and be in a position to win the game, and hopefully that would get us over the line.
From your own point of view, you had the weekend off last time out. Has that been beneficial, just having another chance to work on the grass with the boys? And also, I guess you've had a few injuries, it's been quite well documented. Maybe just help you try and work through that a wee bit as well.
Well, we didn't get anyone back from injuries. They're not anywhere near, really, you know, probably 3 or 4 weeks before we get anyone coming back from the injury point of view. So, but that everyone has injuries. I'm not moaning about that. It's just a fact. It gives us an opportunity to play an 11-11 game amongst ourselves. So everyone really got 90 minutes. We worked really hard in the game. We've had a bit of an opportunity to work on things, yeah, which we have done, and bringing 1 or 2 new players into the football club as well. A couple of them on the bench today, and more to come in. Maybe another couple to come in before the window closes tomorrow night. So a bit of having to address the situation with the injuries and also looking to improve the squad as well.
John McGlynn there, a couple more he expects before the window closes. He has already signed one today. They've announced it, Falkirk. The season-long loan signing of what they call a highly rated attacker, Ethan Williams, from Manchester United. It's subject to international clearance, which meant he was unavailable for the game, but he has, Falkirk say, trained and travelled up with the team. He will be at the game watching his new side this afternoon, just waiting for international clearance from that one. So Aberdeen against Falkirk. Remember, it's Hibernian against St Mirren is the other 3 o'clock kickoff. What a week, what a few weeks it has been for Hibernian. Their boss David Gray has been giving his pre-match thoughts to Brian McLaughlin.
Well, David, 5 changes after a heroic effort on Thursday. Is that just to freshen the squad up? Because no doubt it was an exercise that maybe took a lot out of the players.
Yeah, I think it was really tough to take. I think that's clear for the effort that went in there, the level of performance, and then the emotional side to the right at the very end. So I think that was always going to be tough to take, but as you say, freshness is always going to be key. Even if we went through, freshness is going to be key today. Having the quick turnaround, it's something that the players are ready for. I spoke about that already, and it was my job and the staff's job to make sure we get the players up for it today, and they're all looking forward to a home game against a real tough team. But as I said to them straight after the game, if we want nights like we did, on Thursday night, and to compete at that sort of level, you need to have a really strong domestic season, and games at home are games you need to be winning.
And St Mirren were a team who caused you a lot of problems last season as well, wasn't it?
They are, yeah, very organised, very well coached, very aggressive, very strong team. They've constantly been in that top six the last couple of seasons, and I think they've started the same way again. Very hard to beat, very well organised, as I've just touched on there, and we know we'll need to be at our very best again against a team that has been difficult to play against for us.
In terms of the squad, you've got a very strong bench now as well, and I don't think the actual starting line is actually weakened in any ways, although many would say like Kieran Bowie out is a big loss.
Yeah, I just think it is about freshness at this stage, like you just said. The importance of the squad and the team, I say this every week, the team that finishes the game or starts, it's never the one that finishes it. It's great to have that opportunity to bring players on later on in the game, and I just think that you've identified Kieran Bowie there and what he gave us on Thursday night, running on fumes at the very end, and I think having him as an option is a way of impacting the game rather than starting him and flogging him from the start. Gives us something completely different. It gives Thibaut a start. We've already seen what he can give us in terms of his pace and his directness in behind. Just a different way of playing that I think gives us a freshness and a slightly different tactical approach that I want to take today.
David Gray, slightly different tactical approach. John Rankin will be the man to just explain to us exactly what that is once the game gets up and running. It's going to be a fascinating one, I think, this, Jaws. I mean, Hibs have had so much praise, and rightly so, for what they've already shown so far this season. But it's 3 defeats and a draw in the 4 games at Easter Road, which seems somewhat bizarre. And St Mirren been on fine form all season long, haven't they? Just that 1 defeat in 8 matches so far.
Yeah, it's 3 defeats and a draw here at Easter Road, Richard, but when we say something different and tactical, I don't know if it's a ploy of David's, but he was lining up with a back 4 right in front of where St Mirren were warming up, so I don't know if there's some mind games going on or not, but that's what he chose to do. So obviously we know for the majority of the season Hibs have been a 3-4-3 here, but this afternoon it looks as if they're going to flip to a 4. It certainly did that way anyway. He'll be looking for, as he says, freshness is going to be the key. He did say that, but I've been really impressed with Kieran Bowie so far this season. I think the exploits when you see him in the Thursday night games, he's never-ending energy. He's full of enthusiasm up the top line, and he can work a full back 3 against St Mirren himself. So having that impact to come on in the game today, when it will be a wee bit, there will be a bit of fatigue amongst their legs, but if they can bring that on, that will certainly get everybody going, having that focal point up front. And if they do change it, but again we speak about St Mirren and how well they've started the season. Obviously they've had 2 draws and 1 loss, so they've got 2 points, but they have got a good record against Hibs, and Stephen Robinson will certainly be coming here today, having watched Hibs on Thursday night, going to extra time, and he'll fancy his chances today.
Understandable that the Hibernian have freshened the team up, but you've got to say they've brought in some pretty exciting players, and players who've already made some kind of an impact so far this season. John Rankin's there for us at Easter Road. It's Hibernian against St Mirren. Willie, of course, is at Pittodrie for Aberdeen against Falkirk. We heard from both managers there. You've got the team news as well, Willie. John McGlynn making it clear that he expects this to be an entertaining game with plenty of goals. I mean, that's not a huge surprise, because that tends to be what happens in Falkirk matches these days, and certainly the games so far this season have suggested that.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does come up and play that way, and I don't think that his words would indicate any other kind of ideas in his head, that's for sure. So it's a matter of the fans here, which is a really potent crowd here, magnificent sight as I sit up here at the back of the main stand, albeit very cold up the back of the main stand, but it's the surface is magnificent, so it's there for the players to be able to play the type of football that both sides like to play. I think Falkirk like to get it down, they like to play the passing game, they enjoy being in the opponent's half as well, and Aberdeen certainly do that under Jimmy Tilleen. I think that is always in Tilleen's mind, is that it's front foot football, and he wants to see plenty of action in and around the goal. His problem is that he doesn't really have a striker that's on fire. He doesn't really have a striker that's looking like they're going to take advantage of any opportunities that have been created. I think Keskinen, he's a good ball carrier, Richard. He gets up to a certain area and then the delivery seems to let him down, or the decision making seems to let him down. On the other side, it would be Milanovic, who I've only seen a couple of times. He's been a bit unpredictable, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. And of course, Yenge up top, who hasn't impressed at all. I was watching him in the warm-up, and he was having some sights at goal, and when he did hit the back of the net, he got an ironic cheer from the paddock end, and it's a bit unfair, I would suggest, or the red shed it's called now, of course. It's a bit unfair on the striker. I think he's the type that might take a little bit of time to settle in, so I think Jimmy Tillane will be hoping that he's got his shooting boots on this afternoon.
Well, it's the other thing that I'm sure the Aberdeen fans will be pleased to see, that it's a midfield pairing of Palaversa and Polvara. I think lots of them have been calling for that so far this season. We'll see how that one pans out. Aberdeen, of course, in desperate need of a positive result. They've played 2 games, they've lost both, and they have yet to score a league goal. The teams will be back out very soon at Dens Park. Scott Allen is there alongside Rob McLean. Has it been a pretty lively first 45 minutes, Scott?
Yeah, if you're a Dundee United fan, it has been. I think Dundee United have been, for me, in control of the game. They don't look kind of worried at all what Dundee are offering as an attacking threat. They've lacked real quality in that final third area, even working the ball into the areas where they can hurt Dundee United. Dundee United have ate everything up. And in terms of United going forward, it was a brilliantly worked goal. I think John McCracken could do better from my first view, and I haven't seen it back.
Scott, I totally, because my first reaction was great goal, and actually it was a well-worked goal and it was a well-taken goal, but you're absolutely right. I've seen replays now, and it goes right under John McCracken. He's got to be saving that. Yeah,
well, the moments can kind of swing games, but Dundee United up until that point where the better of the two sides, as I said, it's a great work goal from a United perspective. Satford getting across that front post area and making John McCracken have a decision to make. Unfortunately for them, it goes in, but for me, United have been by far in control. They look organised, they look as if everything they're doing is deliberate, whereas Dundee, everything's so hopeful. Guys like Simon Murray just hasn't had anything. He looks cut a frustrated figure in that team, no question about that. Jan Danda, who's meant to be the creative source in the team, he hasn't had, but when he has received the ball, he hasn't done enough to keep a hold of it. Jove has been so brave in terms of that backline for United. Anytime it's been in, he's come in and been really aggressive and dispossessed them. So it'll be interesting to see what Stephen Presley does this second half, because that flat 5 in terms of out of possession has what's got them the draws, but that's draws. Dundee have to start winning games of football, and I just feel the attacking threat just isn't there. It's lacking a real bit of quality.
There was the only incident I saw, and I didn't see by all means all of it because I was concentrating on other things, but Simon Murray got in behind one time with the chip shot that Kucherenko saved. Was he penalised when he went in there, or was that a real chance?
I think it was an offside. I think the line's been flagged for offside, but that's the sort of, everything's been getting launched up to Simon Murray against 6-foot-odd Dundee United defenders in front of them. That's the bread and butter for them. You need Simon Murray running off the shoulder, coming to feet, and then maybe popping it and spinning in. We just haven't seen anything like that, and that's why he looks so frustrated up there. Very isolated figure.
Already this afternoon, Rangers 0, Celtic 0. It was a lacklustre game overall, certainly in terms of the quality. Rangers offered, as Russell Martin said, more fight, more spirit, more determination, and were the better team overall, but in terms of the quality, it was lacking severely as an entirety over the 90 minutes. So Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Aberdeen, Falkirk and Hibernian Cimarron will be getting up and running, and will keep you right across any goals in that. But settle back and enjoy live commentary. The second half from Dens Park. It is Dundee 0, Dundee United 1, with Scott Allen and Rob McLean.
Thanks, Richard. You'll not be surprised to learn that Dundee are going to make a change immediately at the start of the second half. It's going to be Tony Yogan coming on, a winger, looking to give them a bit more penetration and just give them a bit more generally going forward, because they've really struggled. They'll need to get a bit more control of the midfield area, though, before someone like Yogan can have his impact. But certainly Stephen Presley feeling the need to make a change right at the start of this second half. The best thing about the game so far for Dundee is the scoreline and the fact that they're still very much in it at only 1 goal behind. Dundee United, had they been more clinical, could have put this match almost beyond Dundee already, and Jim Goodwin might rue some of the chances taken, particularly the one for Dolček. So a couple of changes for Dundee, not just Tony Ugan, but Cammy Congreve as well, the young Welshman. He is coming on at the break. So a couple of switches for Stephen Presley. Dundee United will be as they were in the first half.
I think that's Wesley and Danda off.
Right, so Jan Danda hasn't lasted long. And he looked the best opportunity of Dundee finding a way back, but they will change their methods second half. Those 2 changes, Danda and Wesley, replaced by Congreve and Yogan, and no need for Jim Goodwin to tamper at all with his team. It's a great long ball immediately from Camera from the midfield, and with just a little bit more on it, Dolček was in.
Yeah, if he just overhits it a little bit, I think Dolček's got the run on him. But Dolček then gives away the foul. But again, it's Dundee turning the ball over in areas of the park. With it. There they go again.
Giving it away so cheaply. And Dundee United don't look as if they need any assistance from their rivals across the road. But that's been the way it's been panning out here. And Dundee United look more and more settled and comfortable in the game. And you'd have thought Dundee would have been looking to roar out of the blocks second half and really make a statement, and maybe they will do shortly. Congreve involved, and Ethan Hamilton with a great driving run from the midfield up to the edge of the area. There was a challenge on the midfielder, which the Dundee fans thought should have been a free kick, but the home team still have the ball, given away though by Dre Wright, who now is battling to try and win it back, but he tries to get the better of Kereshtes, and that is no contest between that pair. And in the end, the ball flies out of play just underneath us, close to halfway. Dundee have to get in Dundee United's faces apart from anything else this second half.
Yeah, they have to make contact, they have to make Dundee United unsettled. I think there's about 45 seconds. You have it, we'll have it. Just kept on giving each other the ball back. It's Congreve.
Yep, 25 yards out. Cammy Congreve, he tried to turn from his left foot onto his right, and he lost his footing in the process. And now it's Dundee United who win possession with Jovu driving forward, and they flick it out towards the right hand side, and it's a really poor pass. It's just about the only thing Sapsford has got wrong in the game, but it was away from Dolček and out of play on the far side, because that was a really promising looking counter-attack.
Really promising. The second half started in that fashion, but both teams actually been really sloppy in possession, unforced errors.
It's the only derby that matters in these parts, the Dundee derby, and it's United who are on track for their first league win of the season. Dundee will want to be much more competitive second half as Stephen Presley made the changes that will achieve that. We shall see. Back it goes from Astley to McCracken, and he fires it down the middle looking for Simon Murray. Very calm play defensively from Esselink, and he plays it wide for Ferry. Then it's Camera back to Kereshtes. There just always seems to be a pass on when a Dundee United player is on the ball, and now it's Chevet who curls a ball out wide for Dolček, who does pretty well to make that his. And they're looking commanding again here, Dundee United, as they work it around the pitch. And now Will Ferry on the left-hand side, in for Camera. Well, he got a better touch. He would have got a shot away. It just fell behind him. And Dundee are able to clear it from Dre Wright up to Simon Murray. But again, it's just not sticking for any length of time, and they're having to work really hard to hold on to possession. The team in dark blue forced back the way. Astley to McCracken. McCracken takes a touch, the ball runs towards his own goal. He gave it away, and as Dundee United were surprised at getting that chance on a plate, the goalkeeper flung himself down and he was able to regain the ball.
Yeah, he gets away with one massively there, takes a poor touch and then tries to clear it out of panic, clears it right to the righty player and actually makes up for it. He gets out and smothers it, but now I can see maybe why he has been launching things all game. Doesn't look comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Well, he was at fault already for the only goal of the game. He's got to take responsibility for that, even though it was a good finish from Sapsford. And, well, very nearly, that was very nearly a goalie gaff that we were going to be watching online for years to come. Thankfully, he managed to bail himself out by pouncing on the loose ball. I think United couldn't quite believe he'd played it straight to one of their players. 1-0 it remains. United in front. We've played nearly 5 minutes of the second half on BBC Radio Scotland. Amor Fata, the young Swede, looking to force his way down the left-hand side. He's only 21. He's a real unit, isn't he? The first time I've seen him.
So are all the Dundee United players, to be fair. There's a real physicality about them. Just back on that John McCracken mistake there, yes, he did make up for it, but it's just the nervousness that then spreads throughout the team when you're obviously trying to feel your way back into the second half. The other team can be galvanised by it, but
under pressure, Robertson from Sapsford. Back it goes to John McCracken, and not surprisingly, John McCracken just lumped that one away. He wasn't going to attempt any.
I feel like we're picking on him now. He needs to stop giving us these chances to obviously speak about how he's played. Listen, it's not been a good afternoon for him so far, but he has to compose himself. His team need him. That nervousness in your goalkeeper does spread throughout your team.
And what Dundee, of course, can't afford is a mistake, because they're already one down. If they go two behind, you would have major doubts about their ability to come back from that. Whereas at the moment, it's a slender advantage for Dundee United. But he just needs to calm himself as he takes this goal kick with 51 minutes on the clock. And it's Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. Into the heart of the United defence it goes. Esselink getting the better of Murray. Scott has been speaking about Simon Murray's frustration, and it's pretty evident he's had absolutely nothing to feed off so far. Just that half chance first half, for which the offside flag ultimately went up. But there's no great connection, it seems, between Murray and the other attacking players, and very little service.
I can't quite work out if that is deliberate or not, purely based on the fact, physicality and size-wise, Simon Murray's second best when it's launched up to him all the time. That's why I was saying earlier on, if the midfield have to get on the ball, maybe work 5 or 6 passes one side to another, and then you can go long and there's space for Simon Murray to run into. But just going direct straight up to him against the height in that United backline, it just hasn't worked at all. For me, their best way back into this game, to me, in terms of an attacking sense, looks like it's going to be either from a set piece or a long throw.
Scrappy stuff in the midfield, and at the end of it, a free kick for Dundee in the centre circle. They'll not care if this game is pretty or otherwise, as long as they can get something out of it. That would have to be the aim at the moment. As Karestes gets his head to a ball down the side from Dundee and heads it back out of play. Ryan Astley will take this for the team in all dark blue. Dundee United in their traditional colours, and Dundee United exuding a lot of confidence in the way they've gone about this today. Just the one goal though to show for their supremacy so far, as Esselink clears and Camera tries to flick it on for Dundee yet again. United win it back, and Ferry launches one down the left-hand side. Out comes John McCracken, outside his box, right-hand side, and again, well, you can hear the treatment he's getting from the United fans, and again, he just launches it anywhere.
I'm saying nothing, Rob. Listen, that he just doesn't look comfortable. You can tell the goals obviously had an impact in his game. The mistake, obviously, in the start of the second half impacts that as well.
And what that means, of course, is Dundee United just throw everything in on top of him, because
as you would do.
Yeah, he's feeling nervous. In comes the long throw from Ferry from the left-hand side. Good header away from Astley. First there is Camera. Clipped into the box. It's a nice ball, back post. Imari Samuels heads it away, but it's not cleared yet. It's back in, it's back off the bar, but up has gone an offside flag on the far side to help out Dundee, who were under serious pressure there as the ball bounced back off the crossbar.
Fantastic ball initially from Kamara, just feels it into that area, makes Dundee defend. They go into the second ball, and another lovely ball floated across, comes off the crossbar, and Crestes, I think, tries to throw his head at it, and it's cleared away from Dundee.
It does have the feeling at the moment of Dundee just hanging on in there.
Look, there we go again. Rob, I cannot work this out. It doesn't make any sense.
Just a long aimless ball down the middle looking for Simon Murray.
You've not moved the Dundee United backline.
And Simon Murray is operating in the land of the giants, isn't he, with those three at the back in Tangerine. 1-0 Dundee United. I think a lot of the Dundee fans are maybe scratching their heads at the moment and wondering where this equaliser is going to come from. At the back, Luke Graham for Dundee does well. Bit of composure, it's what they need. He just weaves away from a couple of United players and drives forward with the ball. Now Imari Samuels. Back it goes from Tony Ugane. We haven't seen much from the substitute yet. He's got ability, there's no doubt about that. Down the line it goes from Astley, but losing out.
That 5 yards straight, Rob, that 5 yards straight pass to your winger is the easiest way to press a team, and Dundee United have done it really well, whether that's on the other side with Lucas Stevenson. I think it was Crestes there again. It makes it so easy for United to press them. They actually don't look comfortable when they're getting asked to keep the ball for a spell.
And in contrast, Dundee United looking more than comfortable. Fata losing the ball though, which frustrated Camara, who was looking for a pass. But when they lose it, they win it back very quickly. Ferry to Chevet down the middle for Sapsford. He is the only goal so far. Dre Wright for Dundee wins it back. Callum Jones driving with the ball for the home team. Yogan, 25 yards from goal, switches it left for Samuels. His cross ball in, nobody attacking it in dark blue, and a better shout there, and Dundee United would just have let that cross go. What's happened is Esslink's headed it behind, and Dundee get the bonus of a corner.
It's the first time you've seen a couple of passes in the central area. They walked it one side to another, and they get a cross off it, a corner off it, sorry.
And nobody going for it, and nobody in the middle.
Just comes from that foundation, obviously, like I said. Some go out not to get beaten, some go out to win the game in terms of management style. It looks to me this team's set up not to be beat. And then when you do get into the areas, guys aren't in areas where they've been really brave and gambling to go and go on the end of things.
Can they find a goal? It would make such a massive difference for Dundee, struggling badly here so far. Callum Jones on the right-hand side to play this in from the corner kick for Dundee, curling towards the back post, and it was all about Tangerine shirts attacking it and heading it away. And when they tried to work it back out wide again, it's Dundee United. It was Dolchek that time on the left-hand side, snapping into a challenge, making sure that Dundee pass didn't find its target. So much hunger and desire about Dundee United here today. Organisation as well ahead in terms of how the game is developing, but it's still only 1-0. Dundee have a long throw here, and Ryan Astley flings it in. It was Yovu getting his head to it, and Ferry nips in front of Astley, gets it away down the pitch for Dundee United. It's a good little spell of pressure from Dundee, but still not creating anything.
No, not creating anything. Also, the first, second, third contacts are all landing at Dundee United players.
I think Jim Goodwin's thinking about a change or two. A couple of players warming up, and he's wagging his finger to get them back into the dugout and get ready for action here. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1, 59 minutes gone at Dens. Sun-baked Dens in the first Dundee derby of the season, and it's been pretty much one-way traffic. Dundee United will feel well in control of the game, but they need to sustain it to get their first league win of the campaign. Dre Wright gets the ball back from a throw-in. Murray involved. Congreve and Jones had to hurry, and the ball goes all the way through to the pretty much unemployed in this match, Kucherenko. He's had very little to do.
Yeah, well, Dundee haven't had a shot on target yet. Nearly about 60-minute mark. Whoops have been a home team in a derby. Neither seen a shot or nothing. Be a worry for Presley.
Tony Ugan attacking down the left-hand side for Dundee. It's a step forward for them. It's just a bit more positive and forceful, and it makes Dundee United do a bit of defending, and it wins the home team a corner kick. Will it be a set piece that will offer them the opportunity to level this game up? But Dundee United have just got so much height and so much presence defensively. In it comes from the Dundee corner kick from Callum Jones, far too much on it, and Simon Murray ends up chasing it out to the opposite corner flag on the other side. Now Ugan with a decent ball in. Well, it was left by Kerestes. He just ducked underneath it, and it was a nice little surprise for Kucherenko, who managed to react quickly enough, juggling it but managing to stop it.
Yeah, listen, usually in that situation you can only leave it if your goalkeeper gives you that communication. Fortunately, Kucherenko was he was switched on to it. I think that's Moeller coming on.
Yeah, Nikolai Moeller is going to make his debut off the bench for Dundee United, and he's not small either. He's probably about 6'4", I would reckon. Dundee United's new number 77, 23-year-old Swede. He's their 14th signing since the end of last season, and he'll fit in pretty well in the land of the Giants, won't he?
Yeah, he will. They'll be fighting out who gets on the headers for the corners. Big boy again.
We will bring you news, of course, from Pittodrie and Easter Road of anything that happens in those games. The players here taking on some fluids at the moment, having a little break as United wait to make this change. 10,750 is the attendance inside Dens Park for this one. And it's going to be Amar Fatah who is replaced by Muller. And it looks as if he's going to play through the middle, and Sapsford will play down the left side where Fatah was operating. And Jim Goodwin will hope that the new signing slots in seamlessly, and this match continues in the same vein, because at the moment you would say Dundee United are cruising to all 3 points even with half an hour to go.
Yeah, and anything that they have had to defend, whether that was the corner or the long throw, they've been first to everything, really aggressive in their defensive actions. Jim Goodwin will be really happy with his team's performance today. But Dundee, in terms of what they've offered as an attacking threat, trying to get back into this game, for me has been very disappointing.
What he wants, of course, is another goal, and then he can breathe a little easier about the outcome. At the moment, still a chance that Dundee can pinch something here, and there is plenty of time to play, half an hour to go. Ferry played the ball forward and felt he was caught late, and in fact he was, right in front of Jim Goodwin, who was joining in the screaming match at Stephen McLean, who finally blew his whistle, and the free kick just in front of the Dundee United dugout. And we're at 63 minutes on BBC Radio Scotland in the Dundee derby, the Glasgow derby, ending goalless earlier in the day. Yesterday a win for Hearts at Livingston, 2-1, and it was 2-2 between Motherwell and Kilmarnock at Fir Park. And those games between Aberdeen and Falkirk, Hibs and St Mirren, goalless so far midway through the first half of those. This one, of course, is heading towards the midway point of the second half. And the ball is out again down the left-hand side for United as they get up the pitch, and another throw in for the man wearing the armband, Will Ferry. There's a bit of chat about him in terms of a possible move. There's definitely been interest in the United vice-captain. And not surprisingly, because he's been such an impressive performer, the Irishman. Graham clearing for Dundee. Ugan with a nice spin on the left-hand side. Now he looks to power his way down the line. He was clattered into by Yovu, and that will be a yellow card surely for the Dundee United defender. He's got away with one or two hefty challenges in the game. I don't think he's going to get away with that one.
I don't think he can help just being hefty for the size of him. Anytime he's getting close to someone, he's so big that you have to really protect the ball. Ugan does ever so well there. He's actually been direct. Even he's had the chance to maybe take a run at someone. He's done it. Obviously forced a corner about 5 minutes ago, and then there takes the ball in under pressure, turns. Dundee now back in possession.
It's going to be a free kick, about 10 yards inside the Dundee half, left-hand side.
I would like to see a bit more urgency even when the ball stopped. Can we get it down and play?
A little bit lethargic. Finally, the free kick is taken. Down the left side it goes to Simon Murray. But I think they're going to have to come back. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1.
That went out for a throw-in, Rob. See that?
Did? Wow. I thought it was going to get retaken, but it's obviously gone out of play before it came back in, which maybe sums things up a bit for Dundee. They have to improve considerably in this final half hour to get something out of the game. Otherwise, the 3 points are going to disappear across the road.
Sheer frustration from Simon Murray there. And left a bit on Esselink.
Yeah, Esselink still down as Kucherenko clears, but Stephen McLean is going to get the Dundee United physio on, I think, to sort out Bert Esselink, who's still seated inside the penalty box in the Dens Park sunshine. Nothing much bright about this game, though, for the Dundee fans so far. And at the moment, if they were to get something out of the game, you'd think it might be theft. They might be charged with theft because they've not really been at it.
In saying that, Dundee United have, in general play, been far the better team, but I think can't think of much saves that John McCracken has had to make outside the goal. But you can see there's a clear plan in how they're trying to play, I think, from a Dundee perspective. Yes, it's okay going to Iverson, setting up, not to concede and not to get beat. But when you're at home in a derby, you have to, at some point in the game, take the game to your opponent. And we just haven't seen that at all. Very devoid of any real creativity. I touched on that I've seen from minute one, basically, and the launch right down the middle to Simon Murray. I can't quite work out, without making a few passes, how you're going to move any of the United backline to then get him into space, and that's why he's so frustrated. He's so isolated.
While Bert Esselink was getting some treatment, Jim Goodwin's just having a word with Zach Sapsford. He called him across, and maybe the question is how much longer can you last, because he's been out for quite a few weeks, injured. Whether he was rushed back for this, I'm not sure, but he's looked great, and he's got the only goal of the game so far, and I guess Jim Goodwin's going to keep him on for a little bit longer. And Dundee United have just had to reshuffle a little with Bert Esselink still to get back on the pitch. Dundee United down to 10 meantime, but the way this game's gone, maybe 10 will be enough for them anyway. Way ahead of their rivals, and the Dutchman is back on to his position in between big Yovu on one side and Kerestes on the other. Ball winning from Dre Wright. Now he fires it forward down the right hand side. Simon Murray is getting through a lot of mileage here without the ball, and he's chasing again in vain. Back it went to Kucherenko. He flicked it away to Kerestes. Dundee United win it back with Ethan Hamilton, and now it's Tony Ugan on the ball, and Imari Samuels on the left hand side. up towards the corner of the penalty box. Hamilton involved again, now Ugan. Dundee could do with getting the ball in the box. A little step over, across towards the back post, clawed away by Kucherenko. Nobody at the back post for Dundee. Cleared as far as Astley, back into the box. And in the end, it's a pretty cool header back by Stevenson to Kucherenko.
Does that count as a shot on target?
I'm not sure it was on target, to be honest, but maybe a bit more better communication, and Kucherenko could just have left that, to be honest. But as it was, he clawed it away. But I just can't believe the crosses that are coming into the box, and there's nobody looking interested to get on the end of them. Down at the other end, Sapsford with the cross ball, and Muller was very much on the end of it, but he was backtracking and he couldn't get great power on the header, and it was comfortable for McCracken.
Yeah, it's a good ball in from Sapsford. I think Muller in that situation, when you know there's not the pace in the ball, can you just help it back into an area, maybe for an oncoming midfielder to get a shot on goal? And in the end, John McCracken collects.
Lots of shouts to Callum Jones on the pitch for Dundee of where he should be playing the pass. The frustration level among the Dundee fans is really growing as this game goes on. They have got themselves up the pitch, and they have got a throw in out on the right-hand side, and Dre Wright will take it. Back it goes to Astley, into the middle of the pitch. Hamilton. It's a good little run, Ethan Hamilton, and he took the shot on from 30 yards out, left-footed, but right down the throat of Kucherenko.
Yeah, good play from Hamilton there, shaping up as if he was going to go out wide, disguise it, steps in, and the shot opens up for him. Fortunately for him, right down the throat, but positive from him.
Dundee United have the ball with pan camera to Koreshte as it goes, and back with Kucherenko. Just happy to pass it out to Bert Esselink.
Simon Murray's literally pressing himself.
Yovu, right-hand side for Dundee United. Good challenge from Luke Graham. He's been one of Dundee's better players, certainly on the left side of the back three. And now the home team looking to get forward. A big diagonal intended for Congreve. Dundee United dealt with it, as they've dealt with pretty much everything in the game pretty comfortably. No big saves at all for Kucherenko so far. The one he clawed away first half, only after an offside flag had gone up against Simon Murray. They need to do more, Dundee, if they're going to get anything out of this. We're well inside the final 20 minutes. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. United with a player down on the far side, and the physios are on, and this game is being disrupted at a time that Dundee really want to be going for it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's just a case of hanging in there and hoping to get something off a set piece, like I said, because they aren't really throwing bodies forward. I think you touched on a minute ago, the couple of balls come into the box and there's just no one else in there. There's nobody in there to go and attack the ball. It is strange because there's a lack of urgency. It's a derby match to the home team.
And when you look at the size of Dundee United, you don't have great hopes for a set piece either, do you?
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. They've kind of dealt with it really comfortably. But at some point you have to gamble and get players forward in areas where they can maybe pull that Dundee United backline about a bit. But what chance have you got when every time the ball goes back there's a chance to build the play? It just gets launched right back down the throat of the Dundee United goalkeeper.
Still goalless in the 2-3 o'clock kickoffs. Anything happens there, you'll hear about it between Aberdeen and Falkirk, Hibs and St Mirren. Goalless just as the Old Firm game finished at Ibrox earlier in the day. So just one Premiership goal today so far, and it was here for Zach Sapsford on the end of Lucas Stevenson's cutback. Is that going to be the goal that gives Dundee United their first Premiership win of the season? Dundee have got to be hoping to throw something at this late on at the end. Still 17 minutes of the 90 remaining. Dundee 0, Dundee United 1, BBC Radio Scotland. Ryan Astley winding up for a long throw for Dundee. Flicked on at the near post by Congreve. I think that's the first long throw that's actually found a Dundee player on the end of it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rob. They managed to get the corner now.
Yeah, headed behind. And
they've got Muller back there as well, haven't they?
Yeah, just to add to the height factor. Dundee chasing an equaliser at Dens against their deadly rivals. Played in by Samuels. Dundee United get it clear. Now they're on the counter with Sapsford. Left-hand side, jinks his way in, has a look at what's on. There's a good charge down by Yogan. And now Congreve attacking down the right-hand side. The Welshman for Dundee. Great ball, flashing across goal. And yes, you've guessed it, nobody on the end of it.
Yep, this is a fantastic ball. Simon Murray looking for the cutback. You see Sapsford with the first goal. He gets across the front post. If Simon Murray gambles, he gets a tap in. But again, it runs through to Noburn.
Luke Graham was driving forward there for Dundee a moment ago, but he just had Tangerine shirts swarming around him. I mean, when you look at even just a word like desire, levels of desire, there's really no contest, I don't think, between the two teams.
No, listen, I think a lot of that comes down to just the physicality of Dundee United. I think they're stronger than most of their direct opponents. So at that point, you have to be sharp in the head. Can we move the ball quicker? Can we maybe be patient and move United about? But they just haven't done that.
The desire also covers wanting to be on the end of a cross, wanting to be on the end of that one flashed across goal by Congreve moments ago.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think they're that shocked sometimes when they get into areas that nothing looks as if it's worked on, and it's always as if you get there by accident, and then they're expecting Simon Murray to come up with something.
And it's him on the ball. Simon Murray on the ball right now, tried to link it up again with Congreve. Well taken with Cammy Congreve since he's come off the bench for Dundee. It's not been a day to take too many pluses so far for the home team, but he looks, the number 20, as if he's got something.
Yeah, he's come on, and like you said, he looks as if he's willing. He wants to be the guy to try and get Dundee back in this game. He's been direct, he's travelled with the ball, but they need more than one player. They need to, for me, Dundee are lacking a real urgency in terms of getting back into this game. They have to gamble at some point and get players forward.
He's 21, the Welshman on loan from Swansea, Congreve, and he's certainly given Dundee something that they were needing, but will it be enough? That's the question.
Pass.
Nice pass up for Dundee. It's Muller linking it together, and the ball now in the midfield with Chevet. Switches it across to the left side. Kerestes with the cross ball, headed away, but it's straight back to Pancamara. Now Chevet, quick feet in the middle of the pitch, keeps it well for United. Back with Camera again, slips it down the middle. Muller with the layoff, big chance for Dolchek, and it's a great save by McCracken.
It's a great save from McCracken, but it's the first real bit of quality in this second half. Lovely play at the edge of the box from Chevels, and Kamara, he plays that slip pass into Muller round the corner for Dolchek. You think he's going to bust the net, and John McCracken comes up for a big save, but fantastic football from United there.
A throw in for Dundee United, left-hand side, they lead 1-0. Ferry plays it in, headed away, but it's driven into the net by Ivan Dolchek, who ties up the points, surely for Dundee United. It just dropped invitingly for the Croatian, and he rifles a left-footer past McCracken, and Dundee United are going to have their first league win of the season.
Yep, we're talking about both boxes, first and second contacts. Dundee United on the second one, it drops in the box, and Dolchek with a lovely left foot driven shot right in it. I think it's the centre of John McCracken's goal. We're talking about that desire getting on the end of things. He's first to it. Dundee players slow to react, and there's no way back for this Dundee team now.
I don't think there's much doubt he's deadlier on his left foot than his right, because it was a right foot shot that was beaten away moments before by McCracken, but that time the goalkeeper wasn't going to stand a chance because it was 15 yards out. It dropped so invitingly for him, and in a flash it was past the Dundee goalkeeper. And Dundee United have been threatening all match long, really, since Sapsford scored, to add to that advantage. Finally they've done it. We've only got 12 minutes to go. Dundee are making a hat-trick of changes here, but they are chasing the game big time now, and you would have major doubts that they're going to get anything out of this.
They'd have to really change it, but that's the gamble. I felt About 10 minutes ago, they should have started to put a bit of pressure on United, make them defend, and they haven't. Being proactive with the substitutions, all the shape, they haven't, and now it's reactive to being 2 goals down.
Dundee United are going to withdraw Zach Sapsford at this stage, who's made a massive impact, as he generally tends to do. He looked as if he was happy to play the whole game, but Jim Goodwin is probably looking to protect his number 9. Off he comes, a big hug from the manager, and it's Dario Namo who is coming on, the 20-year-old Finn, who replaces Sapsford, and you can just hear how much noise the Dundee United fans are making. They just had that little doubt in their minds that Dundee might just snatch an equaliser late on, but that goal from Dolček has just put a bit of distance between these 2 deadly rivals. The ball is hooked away in the middle of the pitch by Chevet. Dolček tries to get there again. He's made such a big impact. The Croatian, that's his 4th goal for Dundee United already, and obviously he plays on the sides. He doesn't play as an out-and-out striker, so it's a terrific return from him already. He looks a player, but then quite a few of the Dundee United signings have made a big impact already, and it looks as if Jim Goodwin and his team are going to have another really impressive season.
Yeah, listen, obviously replacing the goals of Sam Dolby last year. I think between Waters, Sapsford and Dolček come into that forward line, they've all really contributed since the season has started. So the 3 of them have had a massive impact in this United team. We obviously spoke about it at the top when the season started. How would this look with all the new signings? They look really good to me. Some of the recruitment's been fantastic.
10 minutes to go at Dens, and a lot of the Dundee fans have had enough already. Quite a few beginning to trickle out of the ground now. It was 10,750, not that anymore, and Dundee United threatening to do more damage. Stevenson down the right side gets the cut back in at the second attempt. Dolček is threatening again. He's been a nightmare for Dundee here. Great feet again, great balance, great strength on the byline, and he just ran the ball over the line in the end. Otherwise he might have been in to do even more damage to Dundee.
Yeah, full of confidence, Dolček now. United think there's more goals in this for them. Kamara's been impressive as well, look at that.
Billy Kumetio at the back for Dundee. He was one of the players coming off the bench in their latest switch. Finn Robertson has come on as well, wearing number 10, but it all feels like a little bit too little and a lot too late for Stephen Presley's team, who've managed to solidify a little after a nightmare start to the season, but they can't really have any complaints about how this has panned out today, because 2-0 in no way flatters Dundee United.
No, not for me. There's just been a complete lack of aggression in terms of with the ball from Dundee.
Launched ball down the left side for Dundee to find Tony Yogan. Can they give themselves a little bit of late hope at Dens? He tries to squeeze the ball in from out wide, but it's Dundee United who get it clear, and having scored a couple of goals, Jim Goodwin's team will want the clean sheet to go with it. That will matter a lot to the manager, and it will matter a lot to his defensive setup as well. It just breeds confidence when you can get goals at one end and keep the door shut at the other, and that is the story so far here at Dens, with 82 minutes played. Dundee 0, Dundee United 2. It's all been pretty emphatic so far from the team from the other side of the street, and it's all going wrong for Dundee as Astley opened up his body and tried to side foot one down the line. The ball slips out of play, and there aren't too many crumbs of comfort in this for Dundee, Scott.
No, listen, I think for the Dundee fans who'll be watching this, to speak about that word aggression on and off the ball, in terms of decision making on the ball, from the get-go, I just don't get why you hit that long 60-70 yard launch up the pitch to Simon Murray and then expect things are going to happen, especially against the size difference of that United back line. You have to move them. This is as bad a performance I've maybe seen since the games I've covered this season, Rob, if I'm being honest. They've not carried any sort of threat whatsoever, especially the home team in a derby.
Dundee United got a player down at the moment, which is why we're not describing any action, because at the moment there isn't any. But it is a chance to reflect on how poor Dundee have been, how impressive Dundee United have been. And as you scan across the teams you've seen so far in the Premiership this season, Dundee would be down there, wouldn't they, with one of the more disappointing teams so far?
Yeah, they would. There's no question of that. I think you can look at it because of the Premier Sports Cup run that they had. They then have to build solid foundations, not concede goals, go to Ibrox. You're obviously going to sit in and you take the point and it looks like a really good point, but then you have to have good home form. You have to look, you're going to be threatening, especially when your fans are coming to back you, and I just haven't seen it whatsoever today.
Dundee United going to make another change. It's another nationality on the pitch for them. The starting 11 had 10 different nationalities about it. I don't think it included a Dane, so Danish midfielder Julius Eskilsson is now coming on for Dundee United, and it just has felt today as if Jim Goodwin has been able to do whatever he pleases in terms of chopping and changing players, and everyone that comes in seems to know their job. They've fitted in, and Dundee United have been in almost complete control this afternoon.
Just haven't been stressed at all in the game. Haven't really been made to defend anything. They have had to defend, been in front of them.
Simon Murray is probably ready to self-combust at the moment. He was on the ball there fleetingly, but that's been the story of the game for him. He's been swatted aside by this big Dundee United defence, and the service he's received from his midfield has been woeful. Red card at Pittodrie, Willie.
Yeah, it's an ordering off. Nicky Devlin's got, he was booked a little bit earlier, but he's got a straight red card here. I think it's Calvin Miller that he takes out. He gets the ball, there's no doubt about it, but there is a follow through. The referee just allowed for the booking itself, but VAR invited him over to have a second look, and in that second look he's decided that Nicky Devlin should be sent off. So Aberdeen down to 10 men, still goalless here.
Yeah, heading for half-time at Pittodrie, but Aberdeen a man down, and that might give Falkirk a bit of encouragement going into the second half. Still goalless, Aberdeen 0, Falkirk 0, still Hibs 0, St Mirren 0 at Easter Road. Both those games heading towards the half-time whistle. Here at Dens, we're heading towards the final whistle. 4 minutes to go here, and Dundee United with a 2-goal advantage as Finn Robertson swings a hopeful ball into the box for Dundee. But one feature of this game, and it's a pretty unpleasant feature for Stephen Presley, who trudges back to the Dundee dugout, is that when the ball has come into the box, there have been very few targets, and nobody obviously busting a gut either to try and get there, which is worrying.
I genuinely think he's wanting to keep that resolute shape in terms of when they do lose the ball. He's obviously got the 5 at the back. You're not asking your... to put it into perspective, Hibs obviously use their attacking fullbacks. Dundee has been a flat back 5 most of this game, so you don't have any width in the team.
Well, cancel the trickle of fans leaving and substitute flood. Quite a lot of Dundee fans don't fancy being around at the final whistle when the United supporters go into celebration mode. In fact, cancel that as well, because the Dundee United fans are already in celebration mode. They're going to have a big party tonight off the back of a comprehensive victory here against Dundee. I feel safe in saying that with only 87 minutes on the clock, because there is just nothing to indicate a classic late derby comeback from Dundee. He's got more questions than answers, does Stephen Presley, about where he goes from here. This has been hugely disappointing, and of course a defeat like this is always highlighted when it's against the team that you hate so much and the team you want to beat so much, and that's never looked on today. Long ball down the middle, headed away by Esselink, and it's Yogan, left side for Dundee, heading for the byline, clips it back. Is there to be a late chance here for Dundee to score? It's hustled away by United. No save required yet again for Kucherenko.
Muller does brilliant there, just to get his body in the way. Can't keep it in.
Yeah, the big striker is a fair old target, Nikolai Muller, the young Swede. And we're heading fast towards 90 minutes, just about 90 seconds away from that, as Kimetio steps forward for Dundee into the midfield. Now Astley curls one down the line. Well, Simon Murray, you can guarantee, won't stop running at any point, so he's still going here, but his head is hanging low a little bit, because this has been hugely disappointing from a team point of view, from a captaincy point of view, and from the main strike threat point of view, because I haven't seen too many Dundee games where he has featured so little, mainly because he hasn't had the ball.
It's not playing to his strengths whatsoever. I think even there, when he runs that channel, if he does get in possession of the ball, it then goes back, there's no one in the box. So they just get no numbers in the box. He's been isolated the full game, and the quality up to him, first and foremost, just hasn't been good enough. There's been no quality on it.
The ball played up to Emil Aqua off the bench for Dundee. They're a big number 9, manages to keep the ball, and maybe that's not happened very much in the game either. Just very few positive things for Dundee here. Back with Aqua again. Up to the edge of the box he goes. He tried to squeeze a shot in from the angle, but it had the sting taken out of it as a couple of Dundee defenders got close to him, and it just spins up in the air, and it's into the gloves of Yevgeny Kucherenko. And we're almost at 90 minutes, and the board will go up to tell us that there are 6 minutes to be added on. And as the Dundee fans lead, I have to say I'm not disappointed that the half dozen who were in front of us have now gone, because they've been jumping up and down at regular intervals just to make the viewing from this difficult anyway position.
Not about happiness, Rob. They've not been jumping up and down.
Just making it a little bit more challenging than it was already for us, as another Dundee player runs up a blind alley, and camera counters for Dundee United. Cutting inside, Dolček on the right foot, and thankfully for McCracken it was on the right foot again that time, because it's gone straight at the goalkeeper coming in off the other side. It might have been a different outcome.
Yeah, it was well worked initially from Kamara. So he travels into the space, he got a good stride on him, picks the right pass into Dolček, and Dolček obviously came in on his weaker foot, his right foot, just can't quite get the connection he wanted, and John McCracken obviously collects the ball.
Dundee United have really cruised to 3 points here. Great run from Chevet through the midfield, holding off challenges all around him. Now Dolček looking to reverse a pass into Muller. Everything about United has been creative and positive, and it's been dangerous. And in addition to the 2 goals they've scored, they possibly could have scored another 2 quite comfortably today. It's a performance from his team here today that will have Jim Goodwin putting.
Yeah, I think obviously they had the longer break, didn't they, without a game last weekend. You can definitely see the squad looks freshened up. I think so, that midfield, obviously Kamara come back in from not playing against Kilmarnock. His energy and quality on the ball has really shone through for me today. Like we spoke about it many a times today, and that front line, they look as if they can cause teams real problems up there, and all from a solid foundation. Really good defensively, good shape, in and out of possession, and Dundee just haven't had any answers for them. And it just shows you how important winning the individual duels all over the park to allow you to have some sort of control in the game is. It's been literally men v boys today in terms of this.
More physio action for Dundee United. Another player down on the far side, so treatment at the moment. But generally, Dundee United feeling no pain. It was Chevet who's had a little bit of treatment, but he's a pretty tough character, and he's been an impressive performer again here for Dundee United, although you wouldn't be marking down many of their players here today in terms of contribution, and United have scored the only 2 Premiership goals of the day, 0-0 at Ibrox earlier, and still goalless in the 2-3 o'clock kickoffs. Aberdeen against Falkirk. Nicky Devlin sent off though in that game towards half-time, so Falkirk playing against a reduced Aberdeen second half.
Wow. And
still goalless between Hibs and St Mirren. Dundee United having fun in the sun at the moment as they cruise through to all 3 points. We've added 3 minutes, 3 to go, and then the torture will be over for Dundee. Ryan Astley plays the ball in for Aqua, and Dundee United pinch it back, and still full of running, the Tannadice team. And it's Camara who slips a ball in behind. Big chance for Dundee United to make it 3, and in the end unable to, this time at least, find the finishing touch.
Another fantastic through ball there from Camara, the threaded pass. I don't know who it was running through. I can't. Was it Dolchek again going through there?
Yeah.
I think he could have took the shot. He's got to take the shot a wee bit earlier. The corner looked like it opened up for him. Dundee managed to clear it for a corner. Camara, he's absolutely cruised this game.
The other 2 games are at half-time, the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Aberdeen 0, Falkirk 0, Hibs 0, St Mirren 0. Dundee 0 here, Dundee United 2, as a United corner from the right side is headed away. Just got about 90 seconds remaining in this game, and you will hear one almighty roar from the Dundee United contingent, as much of the Dundee support has headed off into the Sunday afternoon sunshine. But bright will not be their mood as they leave the ground, because their team has been played off the pitch, and yeah, some head scratching to be done in terms of how they respond to this. But it's certainly been a beautiful Sunday for the Dundee United supporters. One maybe last attack down the left-hand side for Dundee, with Tony Ugan who clips it in, and Yovu heads it away for Dundee United. Looks a really solid defensive back 3 that for the Tannadice team. And we are well into the 6th and final, you would imagine, minute of time added on at the end of the derby. Ugan, another powerful run down the left-hand side, and the jeers from the Dundee United fans will tell you that there's yet another cross which does not hit its target. That time you couldn't fault anyone in the middle, because the cross went way beyond everyone and out for a throw-in on the other side.
And not for the first time, Rob. What I would say about Ugan when he's came on, he has looked direct, he has tried to make something happen. That final ball, that wee bit of quality in the end, he just maybe hasn't had, but he has at least tried to be creative for Dundee in this second half.
Well, you'd imagine Stephen McLean is going to be looking at his watch pretty soon, as another Dundee attack is comfortably snuffed out, and the ball played forward towards Kamara. He's still going at a rate of knots, Pan Kamara. You can understand why the Dundee United fans absolutely love him. He could well be excused to lie down in a darkened room by this stage, but he's still very much at it, the Guinea international. We've added 7 minutes now to the 90, and I think both sets of support, both sets of players will happily take the final whistle anytime Stephen McLean fancies. Derby delight for Dundee United, and they've won this one by the width of a street, and it's the street, of course, which separates these two, the bitter rivalry. But in truth, Dundee not at the races today, blown away by the team in Tangerine. Never really too much doubt about it. Zach Sapsford on the mark in the first half, picked out by Stevenson's cutback. It was a lovely move, and the only fault in it was the part played by Dundee keeper John McCracken, who got a hand to the shot from Sapsford from close range but couldn't keep it out. There was just that nagging doubt, as Dundee United failed to get a second, that there might be a way back for Dundee, even though they were having very little joy in the final third. But finally, even that forlorn hope evaporated in the second half, when the hugely impressive Ivan Dolcek rifled in a left footer right in front of the Dundee United fans, and had there been any doubt about it, that removed any from the outcome. That was that. Dundee United's first league win of the season. Lots to sort out for Dundee and Stephen Presley. It was emphatic, it was comprehensive. It was Dundee 0, Dundee United 2.